Buongiorno. Well, for seasoned travelers and first time travelers alike, packing for Italy at times can be overwhelming. So, what I wanted to do is go over a list of things that I think are essential, talk about the items that I bring, why I bring them, and help you approach this with a bit more ease. And the first thing I will say, though, before I get started, is regardless of how long you're planning to being in Italy, if it's even a few weeks, I would not pack more than for 1 week. Everything can be washed, and you're going to probably purchase some new items. So you don't want to overpack. I'll also take a look at these streets here, right? Streets can be cobblestone. You may have to bring things a long distance or up a flight of stairs or two or several on and off transportation. So being nimble, being light is really, really great. And of course, you're looking at these streets. Comfortable walking shoes are a must as well. But let's go through this a little bit at a time as I go through my list of items that I think are essential to bring. And speaking of essentials, I start with the essentials, right? So I get everything out and I lay it out. And of course, I get my passport first and I make sure I have some photocopies of that. Yes, I like physical copies of the passport. I keep one or two in some different bags. I also like to have a scanned copy somewhere online. So if something happens, I lose my passport, or if somebody wants a photocopy of it for some reason, I'm prepared with that. Also, to have your credit cards, I think it's nice to have more than one in case one gets lost or stolen, or you have an issue with the card, as well as ATM, right? So the ability to take money out from the ATM machines. To have more than one is quite helpful. You can load up your credit cards, of course, on Apple Pay, and that way you have a backup in a sense that way as well. Prescription medications. So anything that you need, and I would bring some extra because imagine that you are delayed, something happens, right, or you lose some, whatever. But to have an extra for a week or so is useful, as well as a copy of that prescription. Now, all of these essential items you keep on you on your carry-on baggage, you keep in your backpack. In fact, I have a small bag or a small backpack that I always keep with me in at my seat on the plane, so I know where everything is at all times and I feel comfortable with the things that I need to get by. When it comes to electronics, of course, you need your phone. You need to make sure you have a charger. And a lot of folks don't think about backing it up. But having your phone backed up is really helpful because it could get lost, could get stolen, could fall into the Grand Canal in Venice. Let's hope not. But either way, you have it backed up and you can replace the items on it and the information if you need to. An adapter for your electronics. So, your phone starts to die and you just arrived in Italy and you want to charge it up. Well, you have that adapter so you can do that. Headphones are great for when you're making phone calls back home, perhaps in your room or your apartment or something like that. And on the airplane, of course, if you've watched some of the other videos, you know that I don't like headphones for public transportation. I think they could be a hazard in terms of being pickpocketed or running into some problems. When it comes to bags, here's a nice picture of a crossbody bag. I think these are absolutely wonderful. When you're walking around town, you have your important items in front of you. You can see them, and you don't have to have things, stuffed in your pockets where other folks can get to them. I like this because it's close to the top of my chest, and I know where everything is. I also like a cloth or a reusable bag for groceries. Now, this could be your backpack as well, but in Italy, you might buy olive oil. You may buy large bottles of water, canned goods, different things at grocery stores. And when you carry that back and forth to your apartment, to where you're staying, it's nice to have that. Also, if you've seen in the shopping video, you know that Italians charge for bags at grocery stores. So it's nice to do that and also be kind to the environment. A backpack or a day bag is really great. So this could be a backpack or a small bag that you bring on the airplane with you, or it could be a bag or a backpack that you perhaps have nothing in. You kind of stuff into your larger carry-on bag. I prefer to carry everything on if you can, because sometimes things do get lost. It happens, and it might take a few days to get your luggage. Speaking of that, when I in my carry-on luggage, if I'm checking a bag, I always have an extra outfit, right? Change of socks, change of underwear, t-shirt at least. That way, when I get to my destination, if for some reason that bag doesn't arrive, I know I have at least one thing to change into. When I'm thinking about clothes in general, I think it's important to bring, you bring your underwear and your socks. Honestly, I don't think you need more than, 5 pairs, maybe seven, but they can all be washed, right? These things can be washed if you have an apartment or a hotel that has laundry, you can have that done. You can go to laundromats, you can buy new things. But more than that, they're just taking up space. And we have, of course, pants, dresses, or skirts, whatever it is that you prefer. I think 2 to 3 is sufficient, right? Maybe you wear one on the plane and you have two in a bag, and things that are basic can be worn with a variety of different outfits, right? Nothing that's too outlandish that only works as one thing, but something that works with several different outfits. Same thing with shirts, 3 to 4 shirts. And depending on the time of year, these could be long sleeved shirts, they could be heavier shirts, lighter shirts, or a little bit of a mix of all the above. Button down, right? So a button down, a dressier shirt, or a dressier blouse. I'd have one or two of these. So you can go out to some nicer dinners, or you go out to perhaps an event and you feel a bit more comfortable in that, as well as a sweater, right? 1 to 2 sweaters. Now, depending on the time of year, if it's summer and you're going to be in Sicily, you may not need that sweater. But otherwise, in many parts of Italy, you might want a light sweater even in the warmer months, and a heavier sweater if it's going to be autumn or winter. You want to have that. Comfortable shoes are essential. So 2 pairs, and I would say one you wear on the airplane and one you have in your bag. I really like to have comfortable insoles for those shoes, and know your own feet better than I do. But if you have a certain foot issue that you need to solve with an insole, of course, pick the appropriate one. But I like to have one because you do a lot of walking in Italy. Um, and I think if you can have a pair that works well for when it's raining or where there's some inclement weather, right? So some water resistant, I think that's great. One that might work well for exercising if you do that, or that's comfortable and perhaps is nice enough and in good enough condition that you could wear it out as well. So if you can find something that doubles in purpose, I think that's even better. A water resistant jacket, and depending on the weather, this could be a heavier jacket if it's winter or autumn, might be a lighter jacket if it's springtime. But something that's water resistant or waterproof, I think, is great too. You never quite know with the weather. And if your plans include the beach or some lakes or something, of course, the appropriate kind of swim or beach attire, and hat, scarf, and gloves in the winter time or in the autumn. Of course, these can be purchased in Italy quite easily, and you might really like what you find. So some of these items that are smaller, less significant items, you could purchase while you're there. During travel, I think it's really wonderful to have a medicine kit. So, it's happened to me where, either I or someone in my family has gotten ill on the airplane. So to have some Tylenol, to have some Benadryl, to have a thermometer if you're traveling with young children to measure their, a temperature, right? Some Band-Aids, a couple things like this. And all these things can be purchased in Italy, but if you are arriving and you're getting right to your hotel and you don't feel well, that way you're not off looking for a pharmacy, and or maybe you get sick at a time when things are closed or hard to get to. It's nice to have something, not the excessive, but a small kit with some things will make you feel a little bit better. Of course, the prescription medications we talked about already. I like to have a travel-sized sunscreen. If you're sensitive to the sun, it's nice to have a small thing that you can have in maybe a crossbody bag or right in your pocket. That just makes it a little bit easier as you're traveling around. Travel-sized tissues and hand sanitizer. You'll find that a lot of public restrooms might not have, toilet tissue in them. You also might find that they don't have soap. So to keep your hands clean and to keep yourself, safe from germs and perhaps getting sick while you're traveling, I like to have these two things on me. An eye mask rather, and earplugs. So when you're on the airplane, you never know if there's someone talking loudly around you or a baby crying or whatever. But the earplugs have helped me a number of times, as well as an eye mask for sleeping on the plane, if that's something that helps you. Travel size laundry detergent, that can be great to have. You can use shampoo as well from your hotel, but some laundry detergent might make washing in your hotel or in your hostel or in your apartment or wherever it is that you're staying a bit easier. And Ziploc bags. So these zipper plastic bags are great. I find where there's just to store different things, and they're difficult to find in Italy. So for your carry-on items or things that could leak, I like to have those. So if you can, it doesn't hurt to put a couple of those at different sizes into your luggage with you. Now, here's an example of some things that I might bring. This isn't everything, but a couple of things I'll point out here. One is that you see, where the sunglasses are, that's a coat with an internal zipper pocket. And I love that because I can have, my passport, I can have credit cards, I can have things that are important to me in that coat that I have on. I zip up that pocket, I zip up the coat, and it's really hard for anyone to get in there. And I feel comfortable that my items are secure. Um, Also, we have a small backpack there, right? That's easy, folds up easy. Putting my carry on or with me, or I can put into on directly on the plane with my in my seat. You could say I got a pair of shoes there that are quite comfortable. Those ones happen to be Jocks, which is a brand I like because they breathe out the bottom, yet they're water resistant. So they work out really well, and they're fairly stylish. At least I think so. And they're dark, so they don't get terribly dirty in Italy. And then we have insoles for those. Got the suntan lotion there. A pair of jeans always works well in Italy. And I have a vest, you'll see as well. I like a vest because I can wear it without the coat if it's warmer. I can wear it with the coat if it's a bit cooler. So it serves a variety of purposes. And you'll notice my clothes perhaps are a bit boring to some. They tend to be dark, muted colors, which blends in and they work with just about anything. So that's it for my basic tips with traveling. Oh, one more, as you see the euro there, right? I like to have a few euro on me as well when I travel. You can withdraw euro right when you get to most airports. You can do that right away. But to have some when you're on the plane, when you get off the plane, to have something with you, I find is kind of comforting. So, but anyway, that's it for these travel trip tips. Hope it's helpful for you. If you want a more extensive explanation, feel free to check out A Guide to Italy. Grazie mille and buona giornata. Have a great day.